Welcome back to the Garza Gaming Channel. Today we're talking about the 7.11 update, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles update. Now this update is going to bring a lot of new skins to Smite, but it's also going to change a few gods, and a few of those gods, actually one in particular is one of my favorite gods. Now is she going to get buff or debuff? Is it going to make her better or is it going to make her weaker? I don't know, but we're about to find out. Let's get into it. So here we go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 7.11 update. So as you can see, the 7.11 is going to bring not only a few changes to some of our favorite gods, but actually is going to bring in the skins for the 4 Ninja Turtles, Master Splinter, and Shredder, as you can see in this video. Now this update is actually going to go live November 3rd. So let's start with the various different balances with gods and items. As you can see, the Magical Shield upgrade is going to get upgraded. Not much to talk about. Actually, let's start with Staff of Meridian. Staff of Meridian, they're just going to reduce the cost of it. They're not really going to touch its actual aspects of it. But this is one of the ones. You guys know I love to play Nox. So what they ended up doing is they actually changed her number 1. So as you know, her number 1 is her lockdown, when she does that ray that latches onto people and actually locks them down. So you know how we love to do that 2-1 combo. But before, her number 1 would not affect minions at all. So what they did is they went ahead and added the ability for her number 1 to still pass through minions, but actually do damage, allowing her to clear minions a lot quicker, or with that one. So that's actually going to be a pretty good minion clear. Based on her level, they say they're going to give her 50, 85, 120, 155, 190, plus 40% of her attack power, which that's going to be pretty huge. In Arena, I don't think it's going to really matter as much as it's going to be some of the other modes, maybe like a Conquest or stuff. But I guess in Arena, if you like using stack items for her, this is actually going to allow you to build those stack items a heck of a lot quicker. So that's going to be a very big plus for Nox, and I'm looking forward to see how this is going to work out. Because at first it said that this ability now gives you the ability to hit multiple targets, right? So, but from everything I read, it was only referring to minions. So I don't know if it can pass through enemies and lock onto an enemy, because you'd think it's going to lock onto the first enemy it hits, but it's yet to be seen, and we'll check it out. So Athena, what they did for Athena is they pretty much just gave her final attack, her basic attack, her final hit on her basic attack into a cleave. So it should be doing now more damage. And with a cleave, I think it might do a little bit AoE. I'm not sure. Bacchus, for his chug ability, they actually added, this is pretty huge actually, they actually added attack power to his 1. So now when he chugs, Bacchus actually, in addition to getting all his buffs, defensive buff, he's actually going to have offensive buff now. So that's pretty good, man. That's definitely awesome. Bellona, they just decreased the mana cost of her Bash Shield and her Scourge. Chalk, they actually increased the protection buff duration from 4 seconds to 6 seconds on his torrent, which is pretty significant. And then hitting a god with his turret now provides 2 protection buff stacks. So that's pretty good. Daji, for Daji, what they did is they actually realigned her damage scaling per level for her 1000 cuts. So total now, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be, and for level 1, you see the first hit would do 60. Now it's going to do 100. 160. For level 2, it's going to go to 180, 120. They went from 260 to 340, and 460 to 420. So as you can see earlier on in the game, she's actually going to get a little bit more damage, but then it's going to pretty much plateau at level 3, and then it looks like it's going to start scaling down. So late game, she's actually going to do less. In fact, at level 25, she's actually going to be hitting for about 40 attack less than she is currently now. So that's interesting how they did that. And then they increased the power scaling from 30% to 35% per hit. Okay, so Isis, what they did is they actually increased the her magical power scaling from her wind gust by 5%. So that's pretty good. Jormungandr, the giant serpent, his submerged. What they did is they increased the knockup height from 300 to 375, and they decreased his cooldown from 18 seconds to 16 seconds, which is still a lot. But 16 seconds is a heck of a lot more than, 18 seconds is a heck of a lot more than 16 seconds, right? So Medusa. For Medusa, what they did is they increased the damage of her acid spray. And so what they did is they pretty much added in like 30 more at level 25. So it looks like they just increased her level 1 acid spray stays the same. Level 2 went up by 5. Level 3 looks like it actually went up by 10. Her level 4 went up by 15, and her level 5 went up by 30. So that's going to be a significant upgrade, I think. Mulan, they just decreased the cooldown of her Divine Mastery from 100 seconds to 90 seconds at all ranks. So that's a flat. Neith, they decreased the mana of her backflip. Odin, his Gunnir's might. What they did is they pretty much increased the pulse damage. You know how it pulses? So it increases the pulse damage with totaling up all 3 hits. If all 3 hits hit, his level 1 went up by what it looks like here, 15. Level 2 went up by, so it's 15 across the board, it looks like on that. So I mean, he's pretty much OP as it is. So that's really gonna help him to even be more OP, right? So Terra. Now Terra, this is actually pretty unique. What they ended up doing is giving her a cleave to all her attacks, all her basic attacks, while her standing stones are down. So that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be pretty cool. Vulcan. This is a big one for Vulcan too. What they did is they actually increased the damage for his ult at close range. They actually increased the range at close range by 15%. So that's going to be very significant for Vulcan, because we all know you can actually max Vulcan's ult at full range and hit for like 15 to 1800 damage. So, you know, 75% of that is pretty significant for sure. So that's going to be pretty cool. And as we know, Vulcan's ult is like one of the hardest ones to land at a far distance. So to be able to do a good chunk of damage like that at a close distance when you know you could hit, right, it's going to be really beneficial for him. Zablanc, they increase his physical power scaling from 30 to 50% on his Rising Jaguar. A 20% increase on this. That's pretty big. And this guy, you know, he's pretty OP too, so that's really going to be very beneficial for him. So Zhang Kui. For Zhang Kui, what they ended up doing is they actually increased the base damage for his Book of Demons. It looks like they played with the numbers kind of like they did with Daji. So at level 1, you know, they increased it by 20. At level 2, they increased it by another 20. Level 3 looks like they increased it by 20. Level 4, they increased it by 20. And level 5, well, heck, I guess it's 20 across the board, right? So it wasn't as bad as Daji. So his Recall Demons, they increased the magical power scaling from 20 to 25% per tick. So the total, if you hit with all 5, you're going to have a 25% overall total more damage of his Recall Demons. So yeah, that's pretty much all the changes for the gods. So let's get into the turtles. Okay, so let's start with Leonardo. So Leonardo, as we know, is the leader of the Ninja Turtles, and there actually is a skin for Osiris. So let's take a look. Okay, so the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin that we want to look at is for Leonardo, which is Osiris. And Osiris's skin is actually pretty cool. As you can see, the skin animation is actually pretty cool. His number 1, he throws his swords. Number 2 is more like a jump spin attack. His 3 tethers, nothing really special about that. And his 4, he jumps up and just jumps down again. So it's not too bad. It's actually pretty cool. So let's reset and look at it one more time. The animations for the turtles movement is actually pretty cool. It's very fluid. It doesn't look so chunky like you would think. Okay, so let's take another look at his number 1. He throws a sword. His number 2.
Attack my target.
just spins and throws his thing. Number 3, he tethers, nothing special. And his 4, he jumps in, bam. And that's Leonardo for you. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to end up getting all the turtle skins. But yeah, that this one ain't that bad. So let's move on to the next one. As you can see, Leonardo's skin is actually pretty cool. Okay, so let's move on to Raphael. And for Raphael, they actually used Loki. So this is a skin on Loki. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we go with Raphael. So Raphael is actually Loki, or the skin for Loki. So his number 1, he just goes invis. Nothing too special. It's just a shadowed turtle. His number 2, however, is actually pretty cool. If you throw it down here, you see that he turns into a little Raphael, and he's getting that mutagen flown into his, or dripped in his face. So that's pretty cool. And his number 3 is just a standard psi attack, which actually is pretty fluid too. So his number 1 again, just a shadowed turtle. His number 2 is that awesome mutagen. That is an awesome graphic record. They did a really good job on that one. And then his number 3 is pretty much the same attack, just swing him through. All right, and let me go get some more. Let me go reset the cooldown. We'll see his ult one more time. So get reset. And it's number 4. Wait until the graphics go down. Actually, let's go over here and get all these guys over here. All right. And that's pretty much the standard Loki animation. So not real special, but hey, that's Raphael. So as you see, I mean, Raphael, he's that that grudge, that aggressive type. So Loki was a pretty good pick for him, I think. And the movement on him was just really awesome. Okay, so let's move on to Michelangelo. And for Michelangelo, the nunchuck guy, the pizza surfer type dude, they decided to pick Mercury, which pretty much falls in line with that personality, I think. So let's take a look at Michelangelo. Okay, so here we go with Michelangelo. As y'all know, Michelangelo is the turtle that has the nunchucks, right? So for this skin, they actually use Mercury. So his number 1, we'll see if we can hit it. He actually goes in and swings his nunchucks and tries to, hit that area. It's number 3. He just spins around and throws them. So that's pretty cool. 1, 2. Now let's see what his ult. See what his ult's gonna look like. So for his ult, it looks like he gets on his skateboard and just goes head first. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So there's his 1 again. His 2. His 3. And let's go reset his ult again. We'll check out his ult one more time. They did a really good job on these skins. I'm not gonna lie. The artists that worked on these did a really good job. I remember the turtles when they first came out. They were not very kid friendly. the original comics, anyway. All right, here we go. Boom. So as you can see, it's a really awesome skin. I think this is one of the better ones out of the 3 that we've seen so far. But yeah, that's Michelangelo. As you can see, Michelangelo is actually pretty cool. I love that ult, man. The artwork that they did on that, that ult is actually unique. So again, Donatello is the last one with the bow stick, right? Donatello is more the techie nerd of the bunch. So for Donatello, what they did for this skin, they actually used Wukong for this, which, I mean, makes sense with that big old stick, right? But let's take a look at Donatello. So here we go with Donatello's skin on Wukong. So as we know, Donatello was more of the techie turtle of the bunch. So his number 1, let's see how that looks like. Boom, he has that long stick attack like Wukong does. He has that bow stick swing for his 2 and his 3. Come here, you. His 3, he's on on that dirigible, or that what do they call those things?
Finally, I've been dying to try this tech.
Those drones. It's like a dirigible drone. It's actually pretty cool. And you got the little Donatello that goes chasing him down. So that's his 1. his 2, his 3, and let's go reset his ult again. They actually did a really good job on these turtle skins, I'm not gonna lie. At first I thought it was gonna be kind of a silly concept, but after I actually saw these in action, I think they actually look pretty cool.
Time to get sneaky.
Boom. So that's his ult. Fly around. Oh, but there you go. There's Donatello for you. So hey, you know, are you guys planning on getting some of these skins? What about this Donatello? Hey, I think this is actually probably one of the more unique of the 4 that we've seen so far. But again, that's Donatello. So that was Donatello. Wasn't that cool? I love that how the artwork they did on his his number 3 and his alt, man. It's so awesome that having that little dirigible or that, what do they call those things? Those freaking what do they call those things? The drones. Or the drones, right? So the other skins, they're pretty much the same across the board. They're just more cartoonish. So let's move on to Master Splinter. So for Master Splinter, they use Hachiman. And while the regular 1 through 3 attacks, you know, as you're going to see, look pretty much, you know, standard Hachiman, the ult is really awesome. So let's take a look at Splinter. Okay, so here we go with Master Splinter on Hachiman's skin. So his number 1, like I said before, is pretty basic. Nothing really spectacular. His number 2, same thing. His number 3. But as you can see, the skin is pretty fluid. I mean, it's not glitchy at all. It doesn't look awkward. I mean, they did a really good job at it. But check out his ult. His ult is really awesome. Where normally Hachiman would jump on horseback, he actually gets on the turtle mobile. Which is so freaking cool. Let me go ahead and reset that and do it again. Now, unfortunately, we can't see the front end of that turtle van. But when I looked at it on the release, when they had that video on YouTube for Hi-Rez had a release video, the admins were actually able to show you the front end of the van, which was really cool because you can actually see April O'Neil driving with Casey Jones in the passenger seat with Master Splinter on top of the van actually shooting people from the top, which is freaking hilarious. Here we go again. So you can just like shoot and then jump off. So that's pretty cool, man. That's definitely cool. I think that's one of my more favorite type of alts with this new skin line with the Teenage Mutant Turtle. I think they did a really good on that van. But that's Master Splinter. So how did you like that alt? Wasn't that alt pretty cool? Now, when I saw them actually show these skins off in their reveal, the Smites or Hi-Rez's reveal of these skins, the admins were actually able to give us a good look of the front end of his alt, and you can see that April O'Neil was driving with Casey Jones in the passenger seat, and I thought that was pretty cool. So when you use this alt on somebody, they're actually going to see that coming at them, so that's going to be pretty cool. So let's move on to Master Shredder. And for Master Shredder, they use Ravana, a skin for Ravana. Now, I haven't played this god yet, so this is going to be really cool. So the first time I actually play Ravana is going to be with the Master Shredder skin. So let's take a look at this skin. Let's take a look at Ravana. So here you go with the Shredder skin for Ravana. Now, I'm telling you right now, the way they did this skin actually looks really cool. I liked how the skin tones look against his armor. And his armor looks really awesome. So let's go check out his number 1 attack. His number 2 attack. Number 3 attack. And then his ult. Boom! So that's pretty cool. And then he gets like that dark shadow orb around him. So his number 1. His number 2. His 3. Nowhere to run. And let's go reset his attacks and check out his ult one more time. Man, I'm telling you, they did a really good job on these skins. Let's try it one more time. Come on. And his ult. Ooh! So awesome. I will make your end swift. But yeah, that's Shredder. As you see, they did a really good job on the skin. I love the skin tones. I love the detailing they did on the claws. And that shadow orb that goes around them is pretty cool. So yeah, man. I mean, it's just so awesome the artwork that they did on them. But yeah, that's pretty much the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle update, and that's all I want to really touch on. I mean, there's a lot more skins coming out, but that's the what I just wanted to touch on. I didn't want to drag this video out too much. I just wanted to touch on the skins and touch on those God updates, especially for like my favorite Nox, right? But hey, what do you think about these new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skins? Are you planning on getting this battle pass, or do you think it's a little too cartoonish or too childish? Hey, put it down in the comments down below. I'd love to check it out. I personally was a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they first came out. And when they first came out, they weren't these little childish cartoons. Actually, the very first Teenage Mutant Ninja comics, when they came out, when I was still in middle school, was actually a black and white comic, and it was very adult oriented. It showed blood, people getting chopped up, heads chopped off. It was a really aggressive comic, but it was actually pretty good, you know. But back for those times, it was like really gory, so it definitely wasn't something that you'd see kids reading, right? More of an adult comic book. But over the years, you know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ended up getting commercialized. They started getting into the movies, cartoons, and here you go on Nickelodeon, right? But you know, it is what it is. But hey, that's the 7.11 update. Look for it. Again, it's going to be coming out November 3rd. So November 3rd, look out for that. So again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'm Dark Garza, your OG on the GGC. See you next time.